From the National Weather Service in Raleigh, this is Jonathan Blaze with the Thursday weekly briefing for Central North Carolina. Thanks for joining us today as we look to the weather for the upcoming week or so. For today and the next few days, we have chilly high pressure over the eastern United States and mid-Atlantic. That should result in fair weather over our part of the area with cool temperatures today that will gradually moderate into the weekend with temperatures during the afternoon climbing into the 60s to near 70 for times this weekend, with just a little bit of cloudiness here and there. We have a cold front that will be approaching and moving through the area sometime on Monday. That's going to bring a limited chance of showers. Currently in forecast, we have chances of rain at like 25 to 35%. Don't expect any thunderstorms with that weather system, and rainfall, if it does occur, will be generally light. Behind the front on Monday, we'll have a quick transient area of high pressure comes across the area for Tuesday into early Wednesday. And then another cold front, this one perhaps a little bit more vigorous, a little more vigor and energy, will produce some showers, quite likely late Wednesday into Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. And we'll need to moderate or monitor that system here as we go forward through the week. So in general, a fairly quiet weather pattern really for the next 5, 6, 7 days, with the main weather system coming, unfortunately, right around Thanksgiving. As we look at precipitation forecast for the next 7 days, again today for Friday, Saturday, and even into early Sunday, no precipitation is expected across the area. The panel in the lower left shows the precipitation forecast for Sunday and Monday. All of that light precipitation, generally less than 1/10 of an inch, would occur with the frontal passage on Monday. We do have a period of fair weather on Tuesday into early Wednesday with that next frontal system approaching. That may produce some showers late Wednesday into Thursday. And so the panel in the center lower row there highlights a little bit of light rainfall, again expected late Wednesday and more likely into Thursday. And if we look at the 7-day total in the lower right, you'll see that most locations, if they experience precipitation, would certainly be 1/4 of an inch or less, with many of us probably 1/10 of an inch or so. So we'll continue the dry out process that we've been under for the past several days as we kind of continue to manage the significant rainfall that occurred late last week. With that in mind, the severe thunderstorm potential for the next 3 days is 0. We don't expect any thunderstorms or forecast into the weekend. The excessive rainfall outlook, again, is not a concern, as no rain is expected into the weekend. One thing I want to mention is that was chilly this morning. We had lows in much of the area in the mid and upper 20s. Excuse me, at Raleigh, the low was 28. That was the coldest it's been since March 8th of last year. At the airport in Greensboro is down to 30, and Fayetteville is also 30 degrees as well. But some of those outlying spots got down well into the 20s. And because of the widespread cold temperatures this morning, we have decided to end our frost and freeze program for the season. So we will not be issuing any more frost or freeze advisories or warnings up until the growing season begins as we head into February and March of the upcoming spring. So that puts that to an end for now. But there's also other concerns out there, and that remains to be river levels. Much of the heavy rain and runoff has worked its way through much of the river systems across central North Carolina. And the map on the screen shows the status of various river gauges across the area. Generally green or blue symbols indicate no flooding or no flood stage relevant. But the circles with orange and yellow note minor or even moderate flooding, and those conditions are occurring at the lower reaches of the Neuse, the Tar, and even the Roanoke rivers, and then down to points closer to the coast. Looking at those a little bit more closely on the Neuse River, these are the hydrographs for both Clayton, Smithfield, and Goldsboro. The only river that is in flood or forecast to be in flood is Goldsboro, which is here in the lower right. That river crested just below 25 feet in major flood status early in the week. It continues a gradual and slow fall, should fall below flood stage as we head into sometime on Sunday. The other river forecast points upstream are a little bit more stable, and that's because of a lot of water is being released from the Falls Lake, so that will keep the river levels elevated. But they should stay just below flood stage. If you look at Smithfield, just getting close, but staying below it for the next several days. On the Tar River, much of that water has quickly moved downstream, and the river has crested at Tarboro. They're still in moderate flood stage, but should be falling out of flood stage sometime on Saturday. And up on the Roanoke River, up near Roanoke Rapids, because of water being released by a couple dams up there, the river levels are steady or actually increasing, and conditions there are likely to remain in minor flood for the next several days, and that will likely continue into early next week. So no significant rain is expected for the next several days. The water levels are either a function of lingering runoff or, in many aspects, from dam releases. And we coordinate those regularly with the various entities that manage the dams across central North Carolina. Now, looking at the tropical weather outlook, even though we are just a week away from Thanksgiving, we're still talking about the tropics. There are a couple areas being discussed and looked at. None of those are likely to be of significant concern. The area of disturbed weather here in the central and western Caribbean is likely to not develop into a tropical system, but it will bring heavy rain to parts of Central America. And this broad area highlighted out in the western and subtropical Atlantic is related to a system that will likely kind of try to organize early next week, but that system will move off to the northeast and away from the United States. And if anything develops there, it would likely be a subtropical or hybrid-like system. So finally, we may be putting to an end the very active hurricane season across the Atlantic. As we look to the longer-term outlook, here's the 8 to 14-day outlook across the United States. This is for the last period of November into just the first couple of days of December. And across much of the central and eastern United States, there's a propensity for temperatures to average out as above normal during that period. And precipitation chances for our area, not maybe as clear, but a tendency for it to be at or below normal for the end of November into December. So we will be heading to what should be a drier and warmer pattern as we head out for the next week or two. Just summarizing the weather for the next week, fair and dry weather through the weekend. Temperatures will be moderating. We'll have highs into the 60s to near 70 across much of the area for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Will be a few 70s down in the Fayetteville area and near the South Carolina border. A cold front will come through the area on Monday with the limited chance of showers, primarily I think in the latter half of the day. Behind that, it'll turn a little bit cooler on Tuesday and Wednesday with highs back in the 50s, I think, in general. And then a more significant cold front will likely approach the area as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. And that'll bring a chance of showers late Wednesday and into Thursday. Still a lot of time to monitor that system. That system actually is out over the northern Pacific right now, just west of Alaska. So it has a lot of real estate to cover before it comes near us and impacts our weather. So we'll monitor that event. Don't expect anything significant, but I do know that some folks are interested in perhaps having Thanksgiving activities outdoors or eating outside or that kind of thing. Temperatures probably look to be fairly nice with afternoon highs in the 60s, but the threat of rain there is something we'll need to keep an eye on. So the only hazards and impacts we're really concerned about is just continued high water, especially downstream of dams across central and especially eastern North Carolina. With that, I will pause for any questions here in the chat, and appreciate everyone's participation today. And we hope everyone has a good weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.